part of the solution. All right, Jenny, 1201 here or 1101 there. You want to go ahead and get started?
Sure thing. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm seeing some familiar names in the participant attendees, so that's really exciting. My name is Jenny Flynn McKevitt. I'm the Director of Career Services. I'm really excited to have you all here and to tell you a little bit about the program that we're launching at LSU Shreveport in a little bit. So the program that you're here to learn about, we're calling it HELM, and that stands for Hands-On Experience and Learning with Micro-Internships. This program will help undergraduate students at LSU Shreveport explore careers, gain professional experience, and develop relationships with you, our industry partners, through short-term paid projects. A grant is funding the compensation that the students will receive, so we are especially excited that you get to vet talent from LSU Shreveport at no cost. For our student body who are commuters, who are juggling working while being in school full-time, and family commitments as well, we feel like these projects can really be game changers when it comes to equipping them to be ready for you to hire potentially after they graduate from school. We are joined today by Annie Uzar, the Associate Director of Partner Programs from Parker Dewey. But like me, I think you're going to find that the self-proclaimed funding fairy of Parker Dewey to be enthusiastic and curious as she is helpful. So Annie, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Jenny. It's our privilege to count LSU and Shreveport as one of our 800 partner colleges and universities here at Parker Dewey. So a special thank you for the invitation to speak to you all today and get to connect. Again, my name is Annie Uzar, and I get to work with employers like you all, our career launchers and students on the platform, as well as our campus partners like Jenny. So I'm so excited to connect with you all today. And one thing I want to note before we get started is this session is very much focused on employers and helping employers make better hiring decisions based on real-time candidate engagement and skills data so that you can build relationships with individuals who could be future summer interns or, as Jenny mentioned, full-time hires after they graduate, or some other sorts of parts of your team, maybe just some ongoing support and connections as you nurture those relationships. So if any students or recent grads have accidentally made their way into the Zoom, feel free to exit and you can attend one of our upcoming student webinars. We're excited to see you all there. So today we're going to talk about an overview of micro-internships and experiential recruiting, why it works, how to introduce this into your organization, as well as, of course, the Helm micro-internship program. We're so excited to be launching in the next couple of weeks. We'll spend about 30 minutes today talking through these topics, but yes, we are recording this, so we're going to make sure to send the recording and the slides to everybody afterwards. If not today, then tomorrow. Please feel free to post any questions or comments in the chat. I'll do my best to get through all of them and answer your questions as thoroughly as possible. So let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to cover how companies are starting the recruiting season with a pipeline of candidates that align to their goals. And to be clear, this is the opposite of the stacks of one-click applications you may be getting right now, but rather they're candidates who are excited about your opportunities. These students are seeing your projects and seeing the specific opportunities that you're presenting to them, the specific skill sets that are needed for these roles, and they're opting in. We're going to talk about how to attract the candidates who would be perfect, but are maybe getting missed, right? Maybe candidates who don't meet traditional markers that your organization's looking for, but thinking about how to look for the skills in different ways. It seems like it shouldn't be an issue to find all the perfect candidates, but with the application avalanche that I'm sure you all are experiencing, just like many others are, we're hearing more than 70% of employers are saying the application avalanche is affecting their ability to find the right candidates. We're going to talk about what top employers are doing right now to improve their sourcing and selection, unlocking some time spent flipping through resumes and hosting phone screens, right? Save up some of your time. Strengthening relationships with our campus partners, right? Such as LSU Shreveport. We're huge believers of this relationship and what you've built between you all and your teams and the campus partners that you connect with. You took the time to build and nurture these relationships, and they're incredibly valuable. We want to continue to strengthen those relationships and help you to not just stand out as an employer that students want to join in with, but also help the schools learn how they can best support you along the way as well. And finally, we're going to use data. We love data. We love numbers. We love getting to, see the proof in the pudding, right? So we're using data to help you guide decisions while it still counts. As I'm sure you're hearing, companies of all sizes are sharing these insights. They're complaining about the volume of candidates resulting from the one-click applications, but also not getting enough attendees at events. They're coming to ask how to reach certain students, right? You're trying to figure out how do I find students from certain clubs or class years or majors, but the message isn't always getting through. So today we're going to share some tried and true methods of how schools are collaborating with their employer partners, and how you can connect with the students that you're seeking. As a quick background, we've been around for almost a decade. Since our founding, we're 100% focused on creating real experiential recruiting opportunities for employers to engage prospective candidates and use a skills-first framework to see them in action. This experiential recruiting approach is time-tested and proven. We've improved it to make it accessible for early career hiring, right? Working with these emerging undergraduate students entering the workforce. We've removed all the friction, paperwork, and hassle that would usually exist. And we make it easy for you to capture the data and respond to the changing needs within your organization. As I mentioned, Parker Dewey captures a ton of data that can help improve early career recruiting and really can't be found anywhere else. Helps you to engage the candidates and the students that are aligned with your roles and the skills that you're seeking for them to have. Data that provides you insights on those skills, especially for some of the larger, broader needs of communication, problem solving, grit. But those are often tough to determine in the traditional hiring process. And of course, this data aligns with the strategic goals of your organization. Those areas align to what CHROs, business line leaders, and even CEOs and CFOs are focused on. And we do that in a way that directly benefits hiring managers, provides a ton of actionable insight for recruiting teams, and is quite honestly how these candidates, the students, prefer to engage through real hands-on opportunities where they get to make a difference, really get to experience what life is like with your organization and what the work could look like, from a real hands-on opportunity that they're able to contribute to your organization. So there's a variety of ways that employers are using Parker Dewey, including how they're making sure they're getting the most out of campus visits before, during, and after events. We'll give you some more examples of that later as well. And what they're doing if they can't be on campus this year or haven't historically been recruiting from a school. So if you're not able to always get to campus to connect with the students in person, it's a great remote opportunity to be able to connect with them in all different manners and times of year as well. In all of these cases, this aligns to what you're already doing and trying to not add more work to your plate. We know you're busy and you're trying to hit your goals. Fortunately, all these insights can be integrated into the messages and conversations that you're already having. So, as I said at the beginning, this experiential recruiting approach is time-tested and proven. We improved it to make it accessible for early career hiring by pioneering what we call micro-internships. We took the paperwork and hassle and other friction out of the way so that both parties can learn and move fast. We'll get into the nuts and bolts soon, but in short, these are very bite-sized opportunities and experiences that are both engaging to the students, driving them to want to learn about your organization, and keeping them engaged after they have interest. It allows you to quickly see their skills in a way that's not captured from a resume, and before you invest a bunch of time in talking with them and throughout the whole process. This is what feeds the platform and plugs right into your process without adding to your workload. We took the paperwork hassle out of the way so both parties can learn and move fast. And while the experience is good, tracking all the insights so you can continuously improve is hard. We tried to make it easy for you. So we'll go ahead and look into some examples. And again, if you have any questions about this process or what a micro-internship could look like, feel free to throw it in the chat, but we'll go into some of these examples here. So employers are looking beyond the individual assignment to leverage it as a key part of their recruiting efforts. You build relationships with students, get insights on those skills we talked about, and get the most out of what they're already doing on campus, or build relationships with new departments or schools. And the environment is the key. So this is just a glimpse as to what our candidate insights portion of the platform can provide to you all throughout the process. So how do you get started, right? So this is really the next steps that you'll be taking for the Helm program. So three easy steps, right? Post your project. Think about the tasks that you want a student to do, but maybe don't have time for, or that are things that you are continuously seeking for those skills-based opportunities, right? So you're seeing that candidates are applying for internships or full-time jobs, but they're not having a certain skill set that you're seeking. Let's hone in on that skill set that you're looking to audition for. And then you select the students that you want. Um, and again, they're only students who have applied to your opportunity. You're not going to be inundated with students who maybe haven't expressed interest in your organization or in the project at hand. And then the work gets done. Easy peasy. This is what things will look like when you go to post a project. Um, so you're able to go ahead and describe the name of the project, what department might be hosting the student, the start and end date for the engagement. You might have seen earlier how micro-internships are measured in hours, not in like months or weeks. So how many hours do you think that a project may take a student? And think about when you want that to be done. You need something more immediate in the next week. Maybe they start in a few days, and then again, 7 days later, you want the due date to be there so you have the deliverables in hand. And then, of course, writing out what the project might be in that deliverable section. What is it that you're wanting them to achieve by the end of that week or the end of that month? And then, of course, for the program, you're going to want to go ahead and select LSU Shreveport Helm in the program section to take advantage of the program funding that Jenny mentioned from that grant. When you do this, it tells us that you are wanting to participate in the program. We confirm that all of the details are there. It also helps to preset the project to the hours and pay that the program is covering, and any other questions that might be coming into it. So that's what's key there when you're participating in this funded program here with Helm. This is kind of what the platform looks like for the application process. You see the students apply, you get a good list of their names, and of course their majors, their class years, and all of that. And then from there, you can go ahead and click on their individual profiles. So all of the students who have applied, you're able to see what they've responded to your application questions, right? We always ask, why do you think we should select you for this opportunity? But of course, you can ask those additional questions of, we're seeking summer interns. Would you also be interested in our summer internship role? Or we need students who are really skilled with C++, C sharp, whatever programming is happening right now. Tell us about your experience with that. Or we need a website built. We're a small business. What experience do you have with building websites? That's a really key part for you to be able to get those insights. As I said, it really knocks out the need for the screening call because you're able to ask those targeted questions based on the project at hand. You're also able to look at the rest of the student's profile and what they've provided. We encourage them to, of course, include a resume and any other links to portfolios or previous work, as well as, listing out some of those key experiences. So you're able to get a better picture at, what the student can bring to the table and quickly compare all of the applicants as well. So again, you're only spending a couple of hours, really posting the project, onboarding the student, seeing their work and evaluating it. But the students are getting a ton of additional benefit to learn about the organization. Maybe they're going to engage with faculty or mentors to get the work done and ask their opinion on things. And of course, you're seeing what the schools and partners are doing behind the scenes. And you're still able to really get the experience with the students as well. And of course, you can include the student sentiment or other survey data to showcase all of these things. Because we do have the opportunity to evaluate, right? So I mentioned the insights that you could see through your portal, and you're able to see what you've ranked these students at in those different skill sets and use that to take a holistic picture of your micro interns and really see the different feedback that you've given to the different ones that you've hosted, whether it's in the short term or the long term. And of course, tracking maybe those students over time. So you work with a sophomore now, maybe they apply for a project again in a couple more years. You can look back and see how they did on your previous work and what you've thought of them then, compare it to the new stuff, all kinds of things. So let's go ahead and go into an example. So here we have an example of an entry-level position for a data marketer. Here's some basic info about what is needed for that role. And this is how we can convert that into a micro-internship, right? So again, we don't need to look at every single aspect of the job, but what's a key skill that we need a student to be able to do for this job? They need to be able to make a competitive campaign analysis. This will help us to evaluate their skills that are needed for this role of market research, data analytics, problem solving, communication, that intellectual curiosity, right? Are they really kind of diving in? Are they getting engaged in this? And of course, professionalism. So you're able to then tie that up into a couple hour project here, 20 hours, whatever it may be, that you want the student to dedicate to it, get that final product at the end, and really see what they can bring to the table. And also you get the work. So again, really great to be able to provide them with an opportunity to get something done that you need done, but also you're able to evaluate their skills in the process. So you go ahead and you're able to support your needs, right? And deepen relationships that you have with all different students. So there's a lot of different employers who have used us. You're able to see some well-known brands here, but also sometimes some brands who are a little lesser known, right? Maybe you haven't made your mark on campus yet, or you're in an industry that a lot of people don't typically know about. You see like Xylem on there. Before I started at Parker Dewey, I had never heard of them. And I didn't know what they did. And I'm like, oh wow, they're in water. And that's a highly important resource. And now when I'm driving across the state, I see their trucks. I never noticed them before. So things like that that help with the brand recognition as you get the different exposure to the students. So let's talk about a couple of challenges that we see with different employers and kind of what we're able to do. So you see that there's lower traffic, or you're trying to get traffic at your career fair booth, and you're maybe planning to not get to campus because of that. You're maybe not able to justify the numbers, right? But you're able to go ahead and see that by hosting a micro intern, you're able to get all of that data very quickly, engage a large number of students, and have their applications there. Maybe you only are going to select one student, but you have the data from all of the ones that have applied, and you're able to follow up with them if you'd like to and talk with them about additional roles that you might be interested in working with them on. Say, hey, you know what, this student applied for this project in social media, but we think that they might be really great at doing some other content creation for us. Let's see if they'd be interested in that because it looks like they have those skills. So it gives you that flexibility as well. And again, we've seen an increase in employers who have done this. You're able to then go ahead and really engage the students in a different way because they're excited to get to connect with you on campus too, right? They see that position, they see the opportunity to work with you through a micro internship, and then they're even more excited to talk with you at that on-campus event. So our second example here is very common. A company shows up to an event, gets resumes, gets the contact information. You send emails to the students, and then crickets. You don't get any responses from them. Um, but that's not surprising, given that 54% of students report that these emails are then getting blocked. They maybe forgot that they signed up to hear from you, or they didn't realize what was happening and they accidentally stopped getting those emails. And you can see that it wasn't just about, a project, but there's the ongoing engagement that can happen with these opportunities. And you're able to use the dashboard to see insights on the skills that the students can bring to the table. And again, I mentioned that review process earlier where you can get the data on, how you've evaluated the students. And this is a glimpse at that. Getting to put the comments, so reminders about how the student did, areas of improvement even. And of course, we're able to then share this feedback with our campus contacts like Jenny to be able to give the students kudos, to really see how you enjoyed the experience, all that jazz. So when we've seen this happen, we do see an increase in email engagement by 3 times increase. And again, be able to go ahead and get to that offer to hire rate even higher versus the 78% industry average. The students are recognizing your company a little bit more, and they are looking at those emails, they're continuing to receive them, and they're actually reading them. I know that that's one big barrier too, is that they often feel over emailed, but this way they understand that this is a direct opportunity for them, not just a general advertisement, right? And then the third example that we'll talk about briefly is really given the topic of that application avalanche of the one-click job and just seeing too many applications and trying to weed out who really has the skills that we're looking for this opportunity. So you're able to go ahead and really dive in and see, break it down, right? See how you're able to go ahead and see how they go from step one all the way through 10. What's going on in this role? What's the student thinking about for the project and how they're able to contribute to the role? Wanted to give you a brief slide of some data. Again, I mentioned earlier how much we love it. And go ahead and break down the differences that we're seeing in micro-internships compared to traditional internships or traditional on-campus recruiting or campus recruiting efforts. As you see here, there's a vast difference in underrepresented populations getting paid opportunities, whereas the majority of career launchers on our platform fit into those categories. So they are then getting these paid opportunities. We're seeing a great cost savings in campus recruiting and costs for hiring as a result of micro internships. And again, able to really have a larger, wider impact while deepening those relationships with the students. So you're able to cut down on, how many you're talking with to really go through and get those quality ones that are fitting your needs. And of course, the retention of first years on the job. When students have already done a micro internship with an organization, they have those connections, they have the insights, and some stronger ties versus an initial job offer, right? So I wanted to also break down for you all the opportunity for a free trial with our increased candidate insights tools as a result of getting to participate in the LSU and Shreveport Helm program. So for those of you who do have larger hiring needs and you want to be able to see some of these more detailed insights, we're able to set you up with that for participating in this program. And for those of you who want to talk about that or have any other questions about deepening your interest in the talent pool of micro internships and on Parker Dewey and engaging with these students, feel free to book some time with the rest of our team to go into a more in-depth demo, be able to talk more about some of your specific needs and roles that you're looking for or goals that you might have. But yeah, I will wrap it up here, allow you all to have any questions in the chat or turn on mics. Like I said, the Helm program is going to be launching in the next couple of weeks. We'll make sure to send updates with everybody for that so that you know exactly when the program is launching, as well as all of the different parameters for it. As I mentioned, the hours and pay, that'll all be on there. And again, the cost is going to be covered by that grant Jenny mentioned earlier. So feel free to ask any questions in the chat or feel free to go ahead and exit the Zoom if you don't have any questions. And for those of you preparing for these winter storms, we do hope that you all have a safe couple of days. And again, if you have any questions, please do let us know.